If you want a speaker for your next event that's sure to get your group up on their feet, involved, having a great time, and learning, you should work with John Steinbach. John has over 20 years of experience as a consultant, speaker, and trainer with all sizes and types of organizations. John weaves his expertise into the high-energy activity of teaching people to juggle.
I've been a workshop presenter and speaker for over 20 years and in front of hundreds of groups. And along the way, I found this great way to involve people and teach them any number of things, and that's juggling. But what I don't do is teach them to juggle with balls, but something a little bit easier. One of the reasons I can teach people to juggle in a short time is I use these juggling scarves, which have a very nice relation to gravity and take some time and float, so that people can learn to juggle in a much shorter time than they could with balls, which tend to clunk to the floor when they're learning to juggle. So everybody in the audience has these beautiful, colorful juggling scarves, and that's what they learn to juggle with. But I'm not just teaching people to juggle. I'm talking about vision, goal setting, positive image, positive action, even things like this complex organizational approach called appreciative inquiry. Any of those I can tie into this great metaphor called juggling, and people are up on their feet having a great time while I'm doing it. Now, I don't always include juggling in my talks, but since I think it's such a good approach, I want to take you through a typical talk and how I use juggling as a metaphor. The first thing I do is I introduce the main theme or themes that we're going to have that I found out with the client beforehand fits the audience. It could be vision, it could be mission, it could be goal setting, positive image, positive action, whatever it is. In the two talks that you'll see clips from, one is about vision and the other is about an organizational change strategy called appreciative inquiry. So we're talking about vision, and we're talking about a very specific thing tonight with juggling. Now, as I say that, some of you are thinking, okay, juggling. I've never done this. I have no interest in this. I might have done it in the past. Maybe I have juggled. And some people are saying there's no way I can juggle. And part of what I want to get across is that is a natural process that vision is built on. What we are as human beings is we are vision-producing animals. We think into the future with words and images. So we say, I can juggle, I'll be able to see myself doing that. And my job tonight, in part, is to help you build that vision so you can be successful in juggling. And I think almost anything in life we look at has patterns like this. There are low points, there are high points. You can look at the stock market that way, you can look at anything. Thank you. What we traditionally do with our questions in organizational development is ask about the low points. Appreciative inquiry is saying, ask about these and these only. Not half this and half that, but acquire into what you want to see appreciate and value. So after introducing the main theme, then we get to the juggling. And we do this in a very systematic way, and we start with just one scarf. You are going to take two scarves, and you're going to put them someplace, in your pocket, on a table or something. You're going to have one scarf in your hand. And what you're going to do with that, and again, it should be wadded up a little bit, is you're going to start with your hand kind of at the side, and you're going to take it up in a half of an X motion, and this hand's going to have the other half in a little bit. With your dominant hand, you're going to bring it across, you're going to flick it in the middle, you're going to catch it with the opposite hand, reaching forward, kind of like a claw catching. So in the dominant hand, throw it, catch it with the non-dominant hand, like that, and then it just comes down. Just do that a couple times. Just throw it with the dominant, catch it with that nice open hand, make sure you get enough. After a little bit of time with juggling with one scarf, we take the next step, which is logically two scarves. Dominant hand's going to go first, and when you get to the peak, that's when the non-dominant hand's going to start. So it'll be lift and flick, and just as I flick that, the other hand's going to start with the same motion. So it'll be lift and flick, start with the other hand, catch with the opposite hands. Okay? Throw, throw, catch, catch. Dominant hand, non-dominant hand, catch, catch. When it peaks, second throw.
As John moves through the juggling lessons, he takes time to pause and return to the main themes of the talk. The break also lets what was just learned in juggling a little time to sink in.
Because the
first thing you ask. Inquiry is change. And if I ask you everything that's wrong with the company, that has started the change process the second you start to respond to it. Because you are a part of the company. I don't know if you've ever noticed that the body does not exist independent of the people in it. So as they change their conversation, change their images, the change is happening right then. Inquiry is change. And the notion of appreciative inquiry is that we're much better off inquiring into what we want to see appreciate and value versus inquiring into what the problems are. Many community conversations tend to focus on the problems, tend to focus on what we're doing wrong, the deficits, this town, this whatever it is, and we get all kind of animosity. When you get people talking about where are you trying to go together, just like this group of people is learning to juggle together, to have a vision of doing something positive, it's a much different conversation. So after the groups had a little bit of time with 2 scarves, they're ready for the big step to 3-scarf juggling. And now we're really starting to juggle. The first thing I want you to concentrate on in success is getting all 3 of these out of your hand in sequence. That'll be throw, throw, throw. If you happen to catch them, that's wonderful. If you don't, there is very little harm done at this point. They just fall down, you pick them up. So all you're trying to really do is go 1, 2, 3, get them out of your hand. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Okay. 1, 2, 3. In sequence. Some, 3. There you go. If you happen to catch them and keep juggling, that's fine. Just do it and get them out of your hand a few times. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we have jugglers all over already. So after some time with 3 scarves, there's quite a few people that really have it, and I invite some of the more accomplished new jugglers forward to show off their skill, and we have a blast with this. He's got it, look at that. Undeterred, thank you. Okay, now, so if you're looking for something a little bit different and a lot more fun than the typical talk, get in touch with me and we'll get your group juggling and having a great time as they learn.
I would just like to thank John for coming out and doing an excellent job. He taught people how to juggle who had not ever had the idea to juggle, released your inhibitions, helped you to have a vision for what you might be able to do, work together as a team, and through working together as a team, we were able to learn how to juggle, and it was a great time. Thanks a lot, John.
That speech was wonderful. The whole thing is very encouraging to show that if you put your mind in doing something, keep dreaming and follow through and don't give up and be optimistic, you get good results.